As a seasoned truck driver, I had experienced my fair share of challenges on the road. Each journey brought its own unique blend of adventure and monotony, but nothing could have prepared me for the night that would forever be etched in my memory as a trucker's worst nightmare. It was a chilly evening, the kind that seeps into your bones and leaves you yearning for the warmth of a cozy bed. I had been driving for hours, the rhythmic hum of the engine keeping me company on the desolate stretch of highway. The clock struck midnight, and I decided it was time to rest. Spotting a dimly lit gas station in the distance, I steered my weary rig into the parking lot, seeking refuge for the night. The gas station seemed like a haven in the darkness, its fluorescent lights casting eerie shadows across the pavement. I parked my truck in a corner, feeling the fatigue seep into my muscles as I let out a long, exhausted sigh. I had been on the road for what felt like an eternity, and my stomach grumbled in protest, reminding me that I hadn't had a proper meal in hours. Leaving the safety of my truck, I made my way to the gas station's convenience store. The harsh fluorescent lighting flickered overhead, illuminating the array of snacks and canned goods lining the shelves. I grabbed a few items, the hunger gnawing at my insides demanding a quick fix. As I made my way back to the truck, my eyes scanned the vicinity, taking note of the three shady figures that seemed to be loitering near my rig. A shiver ran down my spine as I realized they were eyeing my truck with a calculated interest. Their hushed whispers and furtive glances in my direction set off alarm bells in my head. Ignoring the churning unease in my gut, I quickened my pace, hoping that my imagination was merely playing tricks on me. When I reached my truck, I saw the three men inching closer, their eyes meeting mine briefly before they hastily averted their gaze. I tried to shake off the sense of impending danger, convincing myself that it was just my weariness making me paranoid. However, as I approached, they quickly dispersed, blending into the night like shadows. With a racing heart, I clambered into the cabin, locking the doors and ensuring that all the windows were tightly shut. I tried to calm my nerves, reminding myself that I was being irrational. But as exhaustion finally overcame me, I drifted into a fitful slumber, the tension of the encounter still lingering at the edges of my consciousness. The darkness enveloped me, swallowing me whole into a world of uneasy dreams. Suddenly, a deafening bang jolted me awake, the sound reverberating through the metal frame of my truck. Adrenaline surged through my veins as I fumbled for the light switch, my mind struggling to comprehend the source of the commotion. I peered through the window, my breath catching in my throat as I spotted the familiar silhouettes of the three men from earlier, now armed and brandishing a gun. Panic seized my chest as they barked orders, demanding that I step out of the truck. My mind raced, contemplating my options, but their menacing stance left me with no choice but to comply. Shaking, I stumbled out of the truck, my eyes darting between the glinting barrel of the gun and the menacing figures that surrounded me. They snarled threats, demanding my valuables and the keys to the truck. With no means to defend myself, I relinquished my possessions, watching helplessly as they ransacked my belongings and swiftly made off with my livelihood. Left stranded and vulnerable, I trudged back to the gas station, my heart heavy with the weight of helplessness and betrayal. I sought refuge in the brightly lit sanctuary, the cashier's concerned gaze meeting mine as I recounted the harrowing events that had unfolded just moments ago. The police were called, and I provided them with every detail etched into my memory. But as they took my statement, I couldn't shake the sinking feeling that justice would elude me. Hours passed, the night giving way to the first rays of dawn, and yet the culprits remained at large, their faces now etched into my nightmares. As I resumed my journey, the remnants of the night's ordeal lingered, a constant reminder of the vulnerability that comes with life on the road. The haunting memory of those fateful hours would forever cast a shadow over my passion for the open road, a reminder that even amidst the freedom of the highway, danger lurked in the most unexpected corners. In the early stages of my career as a truck driver, the thrill of the open road and the promise of adventure lured me into a world of endless possibilities. Every journey brought with it a sense of anticipation, a chance to explore the hidden corners of the country. However, nothing could have prepared me for the spine-chilling encounter that would forever taint my perception of the tranquil countryside. It was a cool evening, the sun dipping below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the expansive farmlands that stretched as far as the eye could see. The roads were desolate, with the occasional flicker of headlights from a passing car providing the only semblance of life in the otherwise silent landscape. I relished the solitude, the hum of the engine and the rhythmic beat of my favorite tunes serving as my sole companions on the quiet country roads. As I navigated the narrow paths flanked by endless fields, a sense of serenity enveloped me, the expanse of nature offering a stark contrast to the bustling chaos of urban life. The distant silhouette of a lone farmhouse added to the rustic charm, casting long shadows that danced along the edges of my vision. However, the tranquility was shattered when a flicker of light caught my attention, drawing my gaze towards the edge of a nearby field. Curiosity mingled with concern as I noticed the erratic movement of flashlights, their beams cutting through the darkness like silent beacons. A tinge of apprehension crept into my mind, but my innate desire to lend a helping hand propelled me to pull over. I convinced myself that perhaps a farmer or a lost wanderer required assistance, and it was my duty to offer aid. Exiting my truck, I felt a surge of uncertainty wash over me, the weight of the unknown lurking in the shadows. The distant sound of rustling leaves and the faint whispers of the wind added to the eerie ambience, setting my nerves on edge. A faint sliver of moonlight illuminated the path ahead, revealing the figures huddled in the distance. My steps grew tentative as I approached, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end as the scene before me unfolded. The flashlights revealed a group of individuals, their bodies cloaked in ominous masks that obscured their identities. A sense of foreboding seized my chest as I noticed the glint of sharp blades glistening in the faint light. I froze in my tracks, the realization of my grave mistake dawning upon me like a cruel awakening. Panic surged through my veins as I realized the perilous nature of the situation. Hidden amidst the tall grass, I observed in horror as the masked figures engaged in a bizarre and macabre ritual, their fervent gestures accompanied by the sickening splatter of crimson against the earth. My mind reeled, struggling to comprehend the ghastly tableau that unfolded before me. The metallic tang of blood tainted the air, sending waves of revulsion coursing through my body. Fear immobilized me, rendering me a silent witness to the sinister spectacle. I dared not move, my heart pounding in my chest as I prayed for the cloak of darkness to shield me from their sinister gaze. Minutes stretched into agonizing hours, each passing moment laden with the weight of dread and uncertainty. Finally, as the first glimmers of dawn began to breach the horizon, the figures concluded their unsettling ceremony and vanished into the embrace of the nearby forest. With a trembling hand, I wiped the cold sweat from my brow, the gravity of the situation settling heavily upon my shoulders. With a newfound appreciation for the dangers that lurked beyond the safety of my truck, I hurried back, my mind reeling with the images that would haunt my dreams for years to come. I continued my career as a truck driver, traversing countless miles and encountering the many wonders and oddities that the road had to offer. Yet, the memory of that chilling night remained etched in my mind, a stark reminder that in the quiet depths of the countryside, darkness could shroud even the most serene landscapes, concealing unspeakable horrors that defy explanation. Having spent years navigating the vast expanse of highways and byways, I had grown accustomed to the ebb and flow of the open road, finding solace in the rhythm of the wheels and the solitude of my cabin. However, as the twilight hues painted the sky in a mesmerizing palette of purples and pinks, my tranquility was shattered by an encounter that would forever stain my perception of the seemingly innocent wanderers that dotted the roadside. It was a quiet evening, the gentle hum of the engine serving as a soothing backdrop to my contemplations. Anticipation hummed in the air as I looked forward to my upcoming holiday, the promise of a well-deserved break fueling my spirits. The clock in the cabin ticked towards 9 p.m., the fading light casting elongated shadows on the asphalt as I rumbled along the deserted stretch of road. The flicker of movement on the roadside caught my attention, pulling me from the lull of my thoughts. Squinting through the windshield, I spotted a lone figure, their form silhouetted against the dying embers of daylight. As I approached, the man's frantic waves tugged at my conscience, coaxing me to slow down and offer my assistance. Rolling down the window, I greeted him with a cautious smile, my concern mingling with a tinge of apprehension. His disheveled appearance and the pungent aroma that wafted towards me instilled a sense of wariness. Despite my growing discomfort, I extended a courteous inquiry, asking if he needed aid or a ride to the nearest town. His voice quivered with a hint of desperation as he requested a lift, his eyes darting nervously as if seeking refuge from an unseen threat. A surge of unease rippled through me, my instincts warning me of the looming danger. Suppressing my mounting apprehension, I relented and gestured for him to climb aboard, a sense of obligation overpowering the alarm bells that rang in the recesses of my mind. As we continued our journey, the man's fidgeting and erratic glances set my nerves on edge. The oppressive silence of the cabin amplified the tension, each passing mile amplifying the palpable unease that permeated the air. With every passing minute, my discomfort grew, mirroring the darkening sky outside. Approaching the outskirts of the nearest city, a sudden glint of steel flashed in the dim light, drawing my attention to the blade that the stranger now pressed against my throat. A surge of adrenaline coursed through my veins, my mind struggling to comprehend the abrupt shift in the situation. Before I could react, he swiftly relieved me of my wallet, his hasty movements leaving me reeling in shock and disbelief. With a chilling laugh, he abruptly disembarked, vanishing into the shadows as swiftly as he had appeared. I sat there, my hands trembling on the wheel, my thoughts a whirlwind of anger, fear, and profound disappointment. The betrayal cut deep, shattering the sense of goodwill and trust that had once propelled me to lend a helping hand to strangers on the roadside. From that fateful day onward, the memory of that treacherous encounter served as a permanent cautionary tale, a stark reminder that not all those who beckon from the roadside harbor intentions as pure as their outstretched hands. The innocence of my benevolent spirit had been marred, replaced by a wary vigilance that would forever alter my perception of the transient souls that punctuated the endless stretches of the open road.